あなたのことは知りませんし、詮索もしません。しかし、軽んじれぬ境遇であったことは察します。
老名主を気取るつもりもないわ。同じカゴの鳥同士、せいぜい仲良くしようぞ。わらわはそなたを気に入ったぞ。
そうですか。ありがとう。
この度の親族会議における使用人たちへの指示や采配は見事であった。金蔵が何時にどこにいて、何をして何を残したか、それらを見事に共有させ、矛盾なく組み上げた。それらの緻密な計画書は高度な魔法陣のそれと同じ美しさがあったぞ。
To make it look like Kinzo actually existed and was living life his own way, she had written his schedule for the day down to the finest detail and made the servants follow it to the letter. Who did he meet? When and where did he meet them? And what did he live with them? And what was he doing? When and where was he doing it? And what did he change? As a result, even though the relatives hadn't seen Kinzo even once, they never suspected in the slightest that he hadn't been there. Eva and the rest truly believed that their conversation about the inheritance had been overheard by Kinzo, as he happened to walk through the hall, and that it had sent him into a rage. Which, again, he references what I've said before about them being tricked, or my own idea of how the narrative spread to the siblings, even them believing and seeing Kinzo because of Natsuki. But I corrected myself. I have corrected myself, so no need to worry there. Everything had gone just as Natsuki's plan had predicted, down to the finest detail. I guess so. Well, there is merit to what Belder said in Blue Truth about those who share the same intention. But I guess that means that, I don't know, like I am still really curious about the definition of illusion that they are using here. That they're using the word illusion in a way that is different from the way I know, or it is exactly the way I know it. Like, I don't know. That's something I'm still gonna have to see for myself, I guess. And the coordination between the two of them and the servants had also been spectacularly intricate.
万一にも知られるわけにはいかぬ秘密ですので、念入りに策を練りましたから。
その緻密さと意志が絶対の成功を呼ぶ。どうやらそなたは魔女としてはラムダデルタ教の一派らしいな。それを魔法と自覚したならば、いつでも魔女見習いを名乗れるレベルだ。
それを魔法と呼ぶなら、熊沢あたりはさしずめ仮病の魔女ですね。忙しい日に限って腰痛で休むと連絡があります。毎年親族会議の日にはいつもです。
ああ、熊沢は違う。もっともっと高位の魔女であるぞ。正体知ったら驚くぞ。
Watching these two have their pleasant chat was another pair with the steam rising from their black tea. However, the second pair was in a role that the first couldn't see, while golden roses bloomed.
ロノベが気を利かせて、同じディンブラとかいう紅茶を入れてくれたぜ。
Yeah, I felt as though Beato murdered something. What's that? She surely tried to say something there. Chances are she was calling us incompetent. For the first time, it felt as though she had been able to communicate something. Surely, she had taken an interest in the black tea and felt like drinking it. Thinking this, Bella took Beto's cup in her hands and made her grip the cup. Beto's eyes trembled suddenly, and her fingers shook. Almost as though she couldn't even move her fingers as she wanted to. And was mourning the fact that she could no longer even enjoy the tea she had once loved without assistance. And that was how she looked. So Bella rested his hand on Beto's, softly took hold of the teacup, and lifted it to her lips. Then, there was only a single mouthful, and Beto sipped. The days in which they had been in a killing fest with red swords and blue wedges already seemed like the distant past. Now, not only was Beto unable to do that, it was even difficult for her to make her body do as she pleased. Even just drinking a mouthful of black tea like this was hard.
どうだ、バラの匂いが素敵な紅茶だよね。口に合うか。
Of course, Beto didn't respond.
どうしちまったんだ。これもまた作戦なんだろ。落ち込んでるふりをして後でバーッと驚かそうって作戦なんだろ。それが狙いならもう二度と同じ手には乗らねえからいい加減にしろ。
More than likely, not the case anymore.
お前がそんなざまじゃこっちも調子が狂うんだよ。なあ、そろそろ引っかかったなバーカってバカ笑いしてくれよ。どんなネタもあまり引っ張りすぎると笑えなくなるぞ。二番煎じなら特にな。笑ってくれ。あそこで夏日おばさんとお茶を飲みながらケラケラと笑ってるみたいに。せめてにやーっと笑うくらいはできねえのかよ。
二度とないわ。その子が笑うことはもう二度と。
Those sudden words were exceedingly cruel.
どうして二度となんて言える。ベアトの笑う権利を勝手に奪うな。
あら、赤で言った方がいい？
I'd prefer if you didn't. Or, if you have to say something in red, then at least say that Baron Castell can go right ahead and suck it. I shook my head furiously. Then, with an expression that didn't even reveal her thoughts in the slightest, Baron Castell spoke while looking at Beto's face. And I didn't understand the word she used in the slightest.
おめでとう。
何がだ。
Eh?
ベアトがそのざまなのはあなたが勝ったからこその結果だからよ。
何を言ってやがる。
あなたはかつてのゲームで言ったわ。これは互いを苛む永遠の拷問だとね。そうよ。ベアトにとっても拷問だった。そしてその拷問ゲームにあなたは勝ったのよ。だからベアトの魂は殺され人形同然の屍になり果てた。
俺がベアトを殺したというのかよ。
勝敗はどちらか一方の勝とうとする意志がくじけた時に決まる。 あなたとベアとの戦いという意味においてはすでに前回決着がついていたのよ。まああなたにとっては預かり知れぬうちにだろうけれども。
なら俺の勝利なのにどうしてゲームが終わらない？どうしてこのゲームがまだ続いている？
その子の足首についてる足かせ、ラムダが施したルールなのよ。
Even if Beatrice tries to yield, or gets discouraged or gives up, she isn't capable of stepping down from the game. And that's the rule. Or maybe it's a curse.
かつてあなたが屈しそうになった時、私はあなたをサポートしたわ。あなたには知覚できないだろうけど、あなたにとって有利な展開とヒントが与えられるように私はあなたに助力した。だから今あなたはここにこうしていられるのよ。覚えてる？私に助けられたこと。
Ben Costello stared at me. It's true, I wasn't aware of it. But maybe it was true that she had helped me. Well, I had a feeling way back in the past that things like that would not last long. You had your goals, and now we reached this point. You are basically torturing Beatrice and Beller continuously so that the games continue for however long you and Damta feel like. You've been doing that since game 1. You talked with us and tried to help us because we had a common goal of defeating Beatrice. Even if I knew that eventually you would want to take away Beatrice's game board and take control of things. Now, you and Lambda are basically the new masters of the playground. But you should not get comfortable though. It will not last long. By the end of the story, you will walk away with your tail behind your legs.
同じようにラムダはベアトをサポートしてるわ。そして今度はベアトが屈しようとしている。だから今度はラムダが屈しないようにサポートしたわ。それが足かせ。投了を許さないことによってベアトをゲーム上救ったわ。
何をどう救ったってんだ。
本来ゲームは2つの終わり方があった。どちらかが負けを認めて投了するか、どちらかがチェックメイトでゲームに勝つか。ベアトはその前者に抵触しかけた。だからラムダはそれを潰し、敗北をギリギリのところで回避したの。ゲーム上は立派なサポートだわ。
At the very least, until I do win, this witch called Lambda Delta can probably try to buy time for Bato's condition to turn back around. But that would just prolong Bato's suffering even more. Neither of us want that. Both Bato and I fought with all we had trying to win. It was because we were both giving it everything we could muster that the game repeated several times to begin with. And that was also why, that one time, we confronted each other head-on with all our strength. And Dato admitted defeat. She said she wanted me to end this game, and entrusted everything to me. So, Ben Costello's words were the truth. She said it was my fault that Bato had become a living corpse. And that was true. but it was something both of us wanted.
俺たちの勝負はもう決着している。なのにゲームは終わらない。だからベアとは俺に託したんだ。早く勝ってこのゲームを終わらせろってな。
Now that the game has been resolved, for it to continue any further would be torture without end to battle. Nothing more than a nightmare. I have to give her a perfect checkmate, end this game in the truest sense, and give battle a peaceful sleep. For that reason, I'll keep fighting. But by continuing the game, battle's eternal torture will continue. It felt as though I could only let her sleep peacefully by slowly strangling her to death.
もう俺には真実なんてどうでもいい気がしてきた。ベアとの気が済んだならもうゲームなんてどうでもいいだろ。ベアとは投了した。俺は魔女幻想の真実など捨ておいて家族と家に帰る。それでいいじゃねえか。
If only Lambda Delta hadn't placed the curse of that shackle on her, this battle would be over already. To ignore the truth of the illusion, that the truth doesn't matter. And that's why I find it detestable. This game, where I have to torment Dato even more to end it, is detestable.
何？真実に近づいたらベアトが苦しそうな表情を見せるようになったんで急に手心を加えたくなったの？なら好きなだけ手加減するといい。あるいはベアトに勝ちを譲ればいい。そして妹に孤独で悲惨な未来を無限に強い続ければいい。
そういうわけじゃねえ。
That's right. I have to return for Angie's sake as well. I know this isn't the time to start feeling compassion for battle.
ならきっちり殺しなさい。その魔女を。
Even though battle was right there, Bianca still spoke without holding back.
あなたの目的はこの女を殺すことよ。あなたは前回のゲームでベアトに壊れて口にしたわ。お前を殺すってね。
ああ、そうかもな。だがそれはお前にとやかく言われることじゃねえな。
知ってる？爪を剥ぐときはね、一気に剥いでくれた方がマシなのよ。あなたみたいに優しくおっかなびっくりとぐりぐりもたもたと剥がれる方がよっぽど痛い。あなたのしてることの方がよっぽど拷問だと思うけど。慈悲があるなら一気に殺しなさい。それが殺すということよ。
余計なお世話だ。俺がこいつにどう引導を渡すかは俺が決めることだ。お前もあのラムダデルタという魔女も関係ない。俺が殺す。他の誰にもそれは許さない。
その意志に変わりがないならいいわ。私はあなたにかけてるのだから。いい？決して忘れないことよ。このゲームに決着をつけない限りあなたが解放されることは決してない。あなたにだってこのゲームを放棄することは許されないのだから。
分かってな。
ラムダの狙いは分かってる。ベアトと同じようにあなたにも繊維喪失させて二人とも生き人形にしてこの世界を永遠に安定させることよ。 そんなの嫌でしょ。私も困るわ。
お前の都合など知ったことか。だが俺はゲームを捨てない。ベアトとの戦いの責任を放棄しない。
目的が同じで嬉しいわ。そして躊躇なくそのということよね。
そうだ。
I have no way of knowing whether those words eased her pain or hurt her. But because of this dull tingling in my chest, I believe that she must have been hurt. You know, right now I am feeling something undescribable, so powerful that if I hold it any longer, I'm gonna explode. Like, I really need to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Alright, now I'm back. Now, the second feeling that I have in me is something foreign to me. Something that I normally don't feel for the likes of Burn Costello, Lambda Delta. Like, it is weird. It is as if the more they talk, the more I want to listen to them. Like, they surely know stuff. I have no way of knowing what the silent battle feels. If I believe she's being hurt, is that any different from her being hurt? If I hadn't thought I hurt her, would I have been able to get by without hurting anyone?
De? あそこで夏日とお茶を飲んでるベアトだけど、大丈夫よね。
ああ、大丈夫だ。
金蔵の時と同じよ。ベアトリーチェなんて存在しない。あれは魔女の力を借りて危機を乗り越える妙案を思いついたと信じる夏日が生み出した偽りの魔女幻想。二人が並んでお茶を飲んでるように見えるのは、ゲームマスターであり物語の語り手であるラムダデルタがそう解釈しているからなだけよ。夏日に対し一片の愛も持たずに凝視できたなら、そんな幻想が見えたりはしない。だから私の目には夏日が一人ぼっちで黙々と紅茶を飲んでるようにしか見えないわ。
Without love, it cannot be seen. Because love is lacking, it cannot be seen.
あれは夏日が見せている妄想。あそこにベアトリーチェなど存在しない。
Nato mumbled softly. It was a small voice that made it sound like she was in pain. The foreign of Ben Castell's truth had stepped into her chest.
ああ、そうだろうな。お前の推理は正しいと思うぜ。だが、それをベアトの前で口にするな。
Well, it's not like Bert Costello is gonna care about hurting Beato anyway, it seems.
どこで口にしたって同じよ。ここはベアトの世界なんだから。
あとは、こいつを擁護するわけじゃねえが、夏日おばさんが本当に未知の人物 X、ベアトリーチェと名乗る人物とこうしてお茶を飲んでる可能性だってあるんだぜ。この光景は1年前のものだろうが、この日の島の人数が赤き真実で示されてるわけじゃない。
そうね。この日の六軒島の人数についてはラムダも赤では語ってないわ。
なら夏日おばさんが本当にベアトリーチェと名乗る女とお茶を飲んだと主張することもできるんだぜ。 俺にお前の説を否定できないように、お前だって俺の説を否定できないんだ。だからそこにいるベアトが幻想だと断じることもできないぜ。
Yeah. Sounds pretty logical to me. Unless she's gonna straight up deny that.
ああ、猫箱理論。それベアトには通用したかもしれないけど、私には通じないわよ。
どうして？
だって夏日はそこで一人ぼっちで紅茶を飲んでるんだもの。
Blech. I had a feeling that she was gonna do something like that. There was a violent sound of glass breaking, and the battle joking about Natsu's newlywed years and laughing happily was erased. A lonely wind blew, and the one person who remained on the bench drinking tea with a tired expression was old Natsu, all alone. Battle groaned. I could see clearly that she was in anguish. Another witch illusion had been smashed, calling Battle towards death. In short, this is what the battle to let Battle rest in peace is all about. A second ago, Ben Castell likened our fight to the torture of tearing fingernails out. If I have to tear them out anyway, then my last bit of compassion towards Battle should be to minimize that pain. In other words, even if I want to minimize the pain, I still have to cause it. I have to accept that look of anguish on her face. And at the same time, this made me realize what a merciless thing the Red Truth was. Right now, in this rose garden, there is no one except our Nazi. In other words, there are no observers except for our Nazi. So, if that lone observer were to say that she had some tea with Dato, no one should be able to refute that. If no one can refute it, does that mean it's the truth? If Eva and the rest of the siblings believed that Kinzo is still alive here, they see it as the truth. Despite that, there is a different truth known by Nazi here. Like, as I said many times before, the only way I've known how to deal with these murder mysteries is to find out contradictions, theorize about what happened and who did it, and, figure out the absolute truth. I mean, that is basically how I've done things before. Because usually the absolute truth has always been the truth that the story laid out in front of me, straight in my face. Which, most of the time, it resulted in a satisfactory win against the culprit, and a happy ending. Like, not just against the culprits, I always saw the process of figuring out the one and only truth as the thing that will enable me to understand the people involved in the mystery. Like, that is nothing new to me. Like, the truth... Like, the truth can hurt when it is revealed. But I always conditioned to think that things will turn out for the best after the truth has been discovered. That it's better to learn the truth than to hide it. That things are becoming quite chaotic in that aspect here. So I feel like I have two options here. either I continue solving the mystery in a quote-unquote proper way, the way I did till now, which I am familiar with. Like, I've been doing it for a while. But in the process, have Beatrice suffer. And basically do exactly what the enemy wants. Or basically go against Ben Castell, Lambda Delta, and the new opponent by basically going the fantasy route, which I am not familiar with at all. I have stated my wish to understand Beatrice and the story that she's telling us, which I hope is the right thing. Nazi is enjoying the roses and drinking tea together with Bato. And you know what the worst part is? It is that I still don't understand why Bato made us go through this. I mean, you know, her wanting us to try and remember Balder's sin and try to solve the epitaph, that I can imagine where it will lead, and learning that will not make Beatrice suffer. But having us go through 4 games and trying to solve the locked rooms in a mystery or anti-fantasy way, that I do not get, Beatrice. Like, what is it that went through your mind?
赤き真実はまるで刃物だ。魔女と戦う上で時に推理を切られ、時に反撃の武器となる刃物だ。
知ってるわよ。それが何？
みだりに使うな。刃物は使うべき時に使えば道具だが、悪意を持って使えば凶器でしかない。
It was true that our Nazi hadn't really been. It was true that our Nazi hadn't really been drinking tea with a witch. However, saying that with the red truth probably has nothing to do with our game. True. What you said is very wise, Bella. And you are being very considerate. Our game is the tale of October 1986. The 2 days of the crying give us more than enough time to injure each other with our red and blue blades glistening.
これは魔女幻想じゃない。夏日おばさんのプライバシーだ。それを暴く権利なんて誰にもあるものか。
この場に魔女が実在して夏日とお茶を飲んだと認めてほしいの。あなた魔女を否定するんじゃなかったの。
1986年10月4日から5日の2日間のゲームについてはな。だがそのゲーム版の外についてまで俺は魔女の存在を問うつもりはねえぜ。そもそも悪魔の証明により魔女の否定は不可能だ。そしてこのゲームのルールに従い赤でそれを語るのもステイルメイトで禁じ手だ。赤き真実でさえ魔女の存在を否定はできねえんだぜ。
確かにまさかあなたに魔女の存在を語られるとはね。さすがラムだ。バトラーを人間犯人説と魔女がいてもいいという気持ちのうまいこと中間に引っ張り出してきたわ。人間の心を操るのに本当に長けている。私ももっとあなたを応援しないとまずいわね。
お前らなど知ったことじゃない。消えろ。これは俺とベアとのゲームだ。お前たちに私はしない。
嫌よ。
何？
だって私もこのゲーム楽しんでるんだもの。
Then Castell disappeared. leaving only that unpleasant left behind. After that, all that remained was Natsu, sipping tea all alone. Bato, her hand still on the teacup as she stared blankly at the surface of the liquids. And me.
ベルンカステルにラムダデルタか。ワルギリアはお前の友人と言ってたが、お前友人は選ぶべきだったな。いや、むしろ性悪なお前にはお似合いなのか。
Bato didn't answer. Bato took Bato's hand, made her hold the cup again, and brought it to her lips. Bato made a quiet sound in her throat and drank just one more mouthful. Then, Natsu's lonely tea time ended. Her truth, which was only hers and observed by no one else, had been defiled. In Natsu's world, in that tea party, which had been peaceful despite her annoyance at Bato for making fun of her too much, must have come to an end, and the two of them probably went their separate ways. However, in Natsu's exposed truth, she was all alone. Natsu traipsed away. On the bench, only a single person's cup remained. After dashing to her bedroom, Jessica answered the phone call that had been transferred there.
ああ、もしもし。お待たせ。バートラー、6年も音沙汰なしとはどういうつもりだ？久しぶりだな。お、そうなのか？知るかよそんなの。うぜえぜ。じゃあ今年の親族会議はちゃんと来るわけだろ？ 6 年ぶりだな。
5 businessmen in expensive suits were visiting in the parlor, giving Kraus and Natsu a progress report on their business. Spread out on the table were the blueprints and designs for a building, as well as documents related to expenditures and the like. So packed that even a teacup would have gotten in the way. Officially, they were here to give Kraus a progress report. But in actuality, Kraus had called them all the way over to Rokkenjima so that Natsu could hear from them directly. This was because Natsu needed to hear someone other than her husband to explain what condition their business was in. That is indeed good thinking. In short, even though another family conference without Kinzo was approaching, their business had not yet earned them any money. After telling the guests to wait for a short while and make themselves at home, Kraus took Natsu out into the hall and once again summarized the situation.
つまり、我々の想像をはるかに超えて、事業は素晴らしくうまくいっていると彼らは言っているのだ。ここで私と知事との私的なコネクションが大きく効いてきた。もはや絶対に釣り落とすことはない。それどころか、例の委任状だけでなく、これまでの損失さえも一気に取り戻すことが可能なくらいの大きな話になりつつあるのだ。
Yep, indeed. The moon tourism will indeed become a reality soon enough. We gotta prepare Jessica for this as well. I've already bought her the astronaut suit. Kraus spoke passionately. This may seem all the more suspicious to Natsu, but this time, at least, she had to admit that everything really did seem to be going wrong. Certainly, this business Kraus boasted of had expanded in scope over the last year, and was promising an even greater payoff than had been anticipated in the beginning. Investors were gathering, jumping on the bandwagon for their own accord, and the business was rapidly gathering funds. It was a perfect example of the saying, money makes money. And this was probably the greatest success of Kraus's life so far. No, it probably would become his greatest success yet. That point was where Natsu's misgivings lay. True, it was certain, and as Kraus had said, they wouldn't lose this catch now. However, the fish on the line had gotten too big.
必ず釣り上げられる魚だ。何も焦る必要はないのだよ。親父が生きていたなら、ぜひ見せて誇りたいほどの大成功なのだ。
ええ、それは分かっています。ですがあなたは昨年、私に約束したはずです。必ず1年で何とかできると。
A pain look rose to Kraus's face. They certainly had hooked a fat fish that guaranteed a great success. However, it would require an appropriate amount of time to reel it in. Natsu pressed Kraus, asking if there was any way for them to make money before this year's family conference. But Kraus kept saying that he needed just one more year. Kraus planned to use this unprecedented success as a springboard to future endeavors. Because of this, he didn't want to do anything that would raise suspicions by making it seem like they were rushing to get money. And they were definitely rushing, because they definitely need a lot of money right now. They are definitely rushing. Certainly, fortune tends to turn against people who take it for granted, even in the slightest. There is a saying about hasty gamblers. On many occasions before now, Kraus had gotten cold feet and sold businesses that would surely have brought in a profit and had just waited, and had, in effect, given away his winning picks. Natsu also knew this. She knew that guts were the thing her husband lacked most. And that was why she wasn't able to refuse when Kraus said he wanted to prudently wait just one more year.
"順調でよかったではないか。ということはどうやら私はもうしばらくここで幽霊を続けねばならぬようだな。
まんざらでもなかろうが、そなたの命などこの世を去ればすぐに悪魔どもに食い尽くされる運命よ。
申し訳ありません、お父様。また今年もお父様にはお休みいただけないかもしれません。
よい、気にするな夏日。後宮家当主はすでに私ではない。書斎の幽霊はおとなしく現在の当主の命令に従うべきだ。クラウスの資料は読ませてもらったが、なかなかに悪くない。
お父様からご覧になってもですか？
わらわから見てもなかなかのものよ。誰もが勝利を確信し、相当の魔力が集中している。その結果、さらに勝利が熱くなり、ますますに人と魔力を集め黄金を生み出そうとしている。錬金術の王道を見事に体現しているぞ。
おお、黄金の魔女の太鼓判までつくならこれは心強い。喜べ夏日。このクラウスの事業は必ずや後宮家の危機を救うだろ
う。ありがとうございます。そしてそのためにまた。
もう一度親族会議を乗り越えねばならんな。
ええ、昨年はうまくやり過ごせたつもりですが、 不審に思う親族も現れるでしょう。今年は正念場になると思います。
去年の親族会議の時、ひょっとしたらもう一度同じことになるかもしれぬと予見したそなたは正しかったな。
最悪のケースを想定するのは魔女ならずとも世渡りの基本だ。それで今年はどうする？
去年同様、会議当日はお父様の秘密を知る使用人を集中的に配置します。お父様の不在を気取る親族もすでにいるかもしれません。不用意な演出はむしろ馬脚を表す危険性もあります。
過ぎたるは及ばざるがごとしとも言う。なればどうする？
今年は昨年とは逆に最後まで書斎をお出にならないという筋書きでいこうと思います。
それがよかろうな。籠城は単純にして最後の切り札だ。
どれほど屋敷が毒素に満ちようとも、この部屋を密室結界に閉ざす限り金蔵の存在を否定することはできぬ。それはわらわも保証する。だが籠城すれば囲まれるは必至。
承知しています。それでも何卒もう一度だけお父様とベアトリーチェの力をお貸しください。
私は新しき当主の命令には逆らえぬ。そして幽霊もまた聖者の命令には逆らえぬしな。この部屋から出るなというのであればそれに従おう。
ありがとうございます。
わらわは嫌だぞ。力を貸せと願われても願いごときでは聞いてやれぬ。
ええ、あなたは顧問錬金術師ですから貸せと願いません。貸しなさいと命じます。あなたの魔法だけが頼りです。
I really am starting to hate that word.
その力でもう一度だけお父様の幻想を。
I mean, at least it's coming from Nazi, which is, I guess, a bit better, but still.
ならばよし。心得たぞ。そなたの貫禄、なかなかに心地よし。
From the shadows of the study, Dada watched the exchange between these three.
なるほどな。そして今年の親族会議を迎えるわけだ。じい様は不機嫌だからと書斎に閉じこもり、誰の前にも姿を現さない。
Natsuki spoke boldly, saying that she would find a way to overcome this year's crisis and protect the Ushiromiya family honor to the end. Kinzo praised her, saying that he was relieved to hear it and trusted her to succeed. Nato also praised her, saying that Natsuki's dignity was even more fitting for the family head than Klaus's. However, right now, the true number of people in this room was... At the same time I thought that, no. Just because I thought that, Battle grabbed her chest and moaned.
安心しろ。ここはゲーム版のまだ外だ。だから俺はそこにいるお前やじい様を否定はしない。
As Battle tried to hold back the pain deep inside her chest, I put my hand on hers. I already told Baron Castell. Denying the witch illusions in just a 2-day period of the 1986 family conference is enough.
お前は前回、全ゲームの開始時にじい様が死んでることを赤で宣言した。しかし、 ゲーム開始以前のじい様の生死については言及していない。
Technically, yes. It was never specified. Although, it was assumed that he died before the starting points. You, Beatrice, did mention in red that no more than 17 humans were on the island, since we subtracted Kenzo.
つまり、今この場にじい様が存在していても、何の矛盾もないってわけだ。
My hand that was touching her let off. My hand that was touching her let off a faint blue light, which seeped into her chest. That light tenderly wrapped itself around the splinters in Battle's chest.
そして、この場にいるベアトリーチェの存在だって否定することはできない。ゲーム版の外、すなわち1986年10月4日以前の島の人数については赤で宣言されていないんだ。
True. The game board of 4th and 5th. He is the game board of 4th and 5th. Everything else outside of it, though, it is free territory to think what we want. Like, if we want to say that Beatrice exists here, then we can do so freely.
だから、ここにベアトリーチェが存在しても何もおかしいことはない。
Betta's expression softened slightly. My blue light slowly started to melt the red splinters that denied the witch illusion. Betta still wore the same sad expression, but she lifted her face and looked me right in the eye. Even though she was silent, her eyes told me that the pain had gone away. The feelings that showed in her eyes were gratitude for taking the pain away, and appreciation, or was it surprise, that I left even a tiny bit of leeway for witches to exist. Unable to look directly at those pure eyes of hers, I automatically averted my gaze.
誤解すんなよ。魔女の存在を認めたり、あるいは屈したつもりもねえ。俺はお前とのゲームに勝つために、その部分だけに徹してストイックに戦いたいってわけだぜ。ゲーム版の外でまで嫌がらせをするほど趣味は悪くねえからな。
Battle hung her head. I was still facing away from her. However, we waited wordlessly for a while, my hand still on hers. By now, no one would believe that this woman with sad eyes was the same person as that prideful Battle. I know, right? Like, you started off as this strong, cackling witch who can do anything and destroy us. And maybe after a while we figured out that you have quite a childish side to you who does not understand humans. And afterwards can get quite emotional. And now he ended up in this state. How can you be so good at hiding yourself behind hundreds and hundreds of layers and act like you have zero problems? And yet now at the worst times, you are at your lowest, right when we need you the most. How serious is Balor's sin for you to end up like this? How do you truly want us to end you? So I asked once more. Even though I had said it out loud, it wasn't a question to her. I was asking myself,
お前は一体何を考えていたんだ。そうさ。俺はラムダデルタのゲームを通じてでもお前を探さなくちゃならない。お前が何を考え、何をしようとしていたのかをな。
very soon, this game will also reach October 4th, 1986. The fifth game will finally begin. And this time, I'll reach the end. The end of that journey.
殺人がとかトリックがとかそういう上辺だけじゃない。お前が黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェが何を考え何のためにそうしたのか、何を望んでいたのか、それをたどる。
That's right. I already know the method of reaching the end of that journey. And I've been shouting it since the very beginning.
今こそチェス盤をひっくり返そう。この物語を俺側からじゃなくお前側からの目線で物語、そして今度こそお前を理解しよう。そしてお前の心臓にたどり着く。痛みなんか感じさせない。安心しろ。あの魔女どものおもちゃになどもうこれ以上させないからな。
Bato looked up at me again and gave a small nod. That's right. The position of the Game Master might have been snatched up by Lambda Delta. However, as long as I continue this contest with the intent of fighting against Bato, our fight will continue no matter who controls the game board. Very soon, the curtain will rise on our game.
今年の親族会議でも親方様の秘密を隠さねばならん。
はい、心得ております。
同じ手がもう一度通じるか疑問だな。
奥様も同じご懸念を持たれている。そのため今年は書斎から一切お出にならない方向で行くことになった。